Hi, it's Dennis Green. This is KCCK's Culture Crawler. My guest today is Ben Delgado. Ben is with Filmscene in Iowa City. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have a Jazzfest themed movie coming up, just with perfect timing in Iowa City as the Iowa City Jazz Festival is rolling around. But before we talk about that, it's been an eventful few years for Filmscene. I looked at the calendar, Ben, and was astonished to discover that the new, what I still think of as the new Chauncey Theater, has actually been open since 2019.
Yeah, it is. It seems new because a lot of the time that it's been quote unquote open, it was actually closed, right? We didn't have films playing for quite some time in there.
And then also just earlier or last year, you opened the outdoor portion.
Right, exactly. The outdoor portion started last year, mostly as a reaction to not being able to be inside enjoying movies together. So we did it outside, enjoying movies in a more kind of safe environment, and we continue to do it. So this year we are in our second full year of doing outdoor films.
So in general, tell me how, like everybody else coming back after the pandemic, um, how has it been?
Well, it's a new thing to learn, right? Everyone's kind of learning how to live in the world that we are in today, and of course, it's no different for movie theaters and for us in particular. We are adapting to the changes and seeing audiences kind of fluctuate in different ways. But thankfully, seeing a lot of our regulars come back and a lot of people still appreciating coming to a movie theater in that communal space rather, and a fairly safe and sanitary environment. I believe there have been zero COVID cases linked to movie theaters at this point. So just a nice little statistic to point out. But for the most part, it's just a new thing to learn, and we're doing our best.
Oh, Filmscene has been an important part of the Iowa City cultural community for a long time, and a lot of work done in the campaign to raise money to open the Chauncey. But just, for a minute, kind of give me a little bit of the overview. How do you see your mission as being different from a regular commercial theater operator?
Oh, well, our mission is much more community driven and art focused as opposed to a commercial movie theater that is really just looking at the bottom line. Because we can count on that support from our community, and because we're deeply involved with the members of our community to put on special events to support our first run films, such as the Jazzfest documentary we're going to talk about here today. Um, we have an opportunity to actually showcase film for the art form that it is, but also make an impact economically on the downtown and culturally in Iowa City.
The film Jazzfest in New Orleans documentary is opening this week at Film Scene, and it's kind of a profile of the New Orleans Jazz Fest on the occasion of its 50th anniversary, right?
It is. It's a celebration of the festival and also the city of New Orleans. It's got a bit more than just concert footage, although there's a lot of concert footage from that 50th anniversary edition, which was um, I believe prior to the pandemic, or it could have been right in the midst of it, if I'm I'm not mistaken. But
Well,
uh,
it's usually in April or May, so it would have been, or
it would
April and May, so it would have literally been just as everything was heading toward closure. They must have
right
been very lucky to get it in.
exactly the last minute kind of thing to get that in. But in a lot of ways, there's been comparisons to Summer of Soul with this movie, in the aspect of just it being more of a party, not necessarily a film you're going to for a plot or even a dense history lesson. It's more of a good time where you're going to see a lot of musicians that you know, but then also get to know some of the culture of the city and how this festival affects it.
Sounds like they'll have not only some performances from that 50th edition of the festival, but also some archival footage too.
Right. There'll be archival footage. I know there's some archival BB King in there, and I'm pretty sure some Herbie Hancock, things like that. So it's going back a few years.
It's always been called the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, but for certainly the past 15 to 20 years, I would guess, it's also been kind of a required stop for pop and rock musicians to be a part of this too. Cause I can think of, Billy Joel, the Eagles. I mean, a lot of the most important recording stars of the last generation have also wanted to be a part of this festival.
Right. That's definitely been a part of the festival's evolution. And we see in this film, there's actually Bruce Springsteen's a part of it, Pitbull's in it, Katy Perry. So you have some pop stars of the day, along with Branford Marsalis and Trombone Shorty, some more contemporary jazz musicians.
Trombone Shorty would probably be the perfect example of someone who grew up in New Orleans, was a part of that music scene, went to the festival as a youngster, I'm sure, started playing on some of the side stages as a kid, and then came back as a superstar.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of a perfect example of that musician who was affected by the festival and now is a big part of it.
The Jazz Fest in New Orleans story opens, is it Friday the 17th?
That's correct. Friday, June 17th.
And how long will it run?
So that one is a 1 week only. So you've got a week to catch that. And speaking of Jazz Fest and jazz festivals, this particular run for this film is going to help support the Iowa City Jazz Festival. So $1 from every ticket is going to go to the Summer of the Arts in support of their celebration of music and community.
So yet another way to get tuned up for the Iowa City Jazz Festival is watch a documentary on the New Orleans Jazz Festival and support Summer of the Arts at the same time. And again, opening on Friday and just for a week. So you've got to get in and get that scene before it goes.
Correct.
What else is going on for the next few weeks or months at Filmscene, Ben?
Well, we touched upon the outdoor films, and that's something that, of course, we have kicked off for the year at Filmscene, both in the park, which is right next to our Chauncey location. We had about 450 people there for Star Wars on the opening weekend of that series, and that continues on with Crooklyn on June 25th, which will be kind of coinciding with another lead up to Jazz Fest, in that Delroy Lindo plays a jazz musician in that film, the Spike Lee film from the 90s. Very much a family film, a little bit of children dealing with grief sort of a thing, but also a summer film. I feel like it's kind of perfect for the time and place, and hopefully people will join us for that one. And we have a full season that will be on our website, as well as our rooftop series, which is another outdoor series that we have, which is a bit smaller. Obviously, we're on a rooftop. We have limited space. We can't have 450 people up there, but it's just as fun. So I think just highlighting those two outdoor series, you can check those out on our website, icfilmscene.org, for more information on everything we're playing outside or inside. Got great stuff all around.
Yeah, if it's hot like it is as we're taping this, indoors the movie theater is the perfect place to pass a warm afternoon. So you've got both of your theaters, also indoor theaters, still open. We talked a lot about the Chauncey, but the original classic location on the Ped Mall is still open too.
It is still open, and that's in fact where we'll be showing Jazz Fest. So if you're jonesing for the original location, haven't been back since we reopened it, it's there for you. And we got the Jazz Fest for a week only, and other films throughout the summer.
All right. And again, the website, if people want to get tickets or find out more information about any of the many places you can watch a Filmscene movie,
the website is icfilmscene.org.
Ben, thanks a lot for joining me today.
Thank you, Dennis.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or however you get your podcasts. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.